frustrating the boys and girls. You don't have to be a capitalist to be on the wanted list. The operation is run up tight, and them mugging black is white. 100 million missing in PCO. Who keep we money we want to know? That's a bandit. Look the bandit. A police constable who should have more seriously. He 15,000 in CID. That's a bandit. Look the bandit. Last week I'm making marketing tongue. As I put on my basket, it's gone, it's gone. That's a bandit.
Yes, indeed, of course. A pleasant good night to all and sundry, east, west, north, south, central in Trinidad, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are streaming on the World Wide Web. At this time, of course, it is the Corridor Transformation, your host, plural, both, of course, yours truly, Lennox Smith, and COP, who will be joining us momentarily. But the fact is that I thought I should play this because I don't want it to be said that we are oblivious to contemporary realities of Trinidad and Tobago. Too often, we have seen where the police is engaged, but the police itself has to engage itself on the basis of dishonesty. And of course, we see it across the sectors, whether it be persons who engage in sedentary work, meaning office and so on, people who engage in business, and I'm talking generically here because I don't want to identify anybody at this point in time except to say, and the rationale for my drawing that conclusion or raising this issue is all of us have a responsibility to emerge out of the morass and the treachery and the lack of patriotism that these activities engender to the detriment of the society called Trinidad and Tobago. That's the point I am making. So let's hear about the bandits, and then of course we will end it up with more patriotic, let's say, delivery.
Everywhere. Man, I sure you get detox. Every day it's a crime in New York.
If Trinidad is a boat sailing on the earth, go sail on it. Oh Lord, I go sail on it. Whether it fast or slow, wheresoever it goes, I go in with it. Tell them I go in with it. I go sail when the tide is flat. I go sail when the tide is near. If she go sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat. A sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come. And when she needs a push, I'm going to push like bush. If Trinidad is a boat, I go sail on it, sink or float. Under scrutiny, who plotting mutiny, and I watching them. I say I watching them. Who giving the captain lip, and all who abandon ship, and I'm marking them. I say I'm marking them. Stowaways, keeping free passage, castaways with excess baggage, crimson pirates.
Yes, indeed, we will all push like Bush in order to save Trinidad and Tobago. And tonight is a good night. Tonight is a night to celebrate. Tonight is a night to vindicate. Tonight is a night to say to all and sundry in Trinidad, out of Trinidad, diaspora, etc., stay focused. Stay focused. And yes, indeed, Trinidad and Tobago is in a good place and moving forward. Why am I saying all of that? I'm saying all of that because of the recognition only recently, I'm talking about days now, that CARICOM, the rest of the CARICOM brothers and sister nations, have recognized the prowess, the political geniusness, the tenaciousness of our Prime Minister in staying steadfast to fundamental principles that can only augur well, not just for Trinidad and Tobago, but every single island that makes up that arrangement in the Caribbean, called CARICOM. Yes. But before we go there, of course, I thought I should let my colleague know where I'm going tonight so that he can make the necessary comment. You see, we work as a team, and so it must be not in competition with each other, but as a team to make certain that you get the benefits of the information that we would disclose on a nightly basis. Having said that, a pleasant good night to you, COP. And, well, you heard my intro, so you must know where I'm coming from by now. A pleasant good night to you.
Good night.
You were conspicuous by your absence last night, so I had to have a shortened version last night. I don't want to blame the technology, so I said I did it deliberately. But go ahead, my friend.
Well, let me tell you something, Lennox Smith. In this 21st century, everything you must blame the technology for. Don't blame yourself at all for nothing. Blame technology for everything. Don't put that burden on your chest. Let me say good night to you and good night to Josh and to all the listeners and viewers of the Corridor Transformation. Good night, welcome. I was really busy last night. Is everybody going to leave me alone home? Lennox, everybody going on holiday?
You know it is.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, we know how that works, and the fort has to be manned and secured, and therefore it behoves on us so to do. But go ahead.
But so far, I see in your contribution on the corridor transformation over here, I see two topics. And what you bring out, I see you speak about the police and them have to be much more considerate and watch how they're dealing with especially the music instrument, the piano. They watch how you can't slam down on the ground and all kind of things. If you could do that, if you could do those kind of things and be so harsh to the national instrument, I can imagine what you do, human being. It's sad to see that. It's sad to see what take place. It's sad to see what take place over there. And in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, our culture, you could stop your music 2 o'clock, but people will still be fetting and liming and the police could at least give them the time, give them the little 15, 20 minutes after, because the music done already, everything done, but instrument over there. And once they have instrument and the rhythm done in them already, they will continue beating the instrument. But to come and slam it down and things, so I think it was a failure. And the success, well, I don't want to go in it too much. I want you to continue into the last topic what you were speaking about CARICOM. I will butt in just now.
Yes, indeed, yes. But of course, it is said that it is prudent, it is sagacious, it is wise to, of course, first dance a home before you expand your wings, so to speak, outside of your home. In other words, paying tribute to your homestead or your place of birth is
let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Remember Trinidad and Tobago, all the Prime Minister wanted was accountability when she writes she letter and send it to the CARICOM secretary. All she wanted was accountability. And that's what all leaders in CARICOM supposed to ask for accountability. So we can't vex with the Prime Minister. We're supposed to give she 10 out of 10.
Yes, indeed. Yes. And of course, the evidence will speak for itself, but I was going in the direction of recognizing and making certain and imposing, for want of a better term, or maybe the more appropriate term will be, every citizen have a duty to inculcate, to put into their heads the fact that this place, Trinidad and Tobago, is our collective and individual homes. And therefore, we have to cherish it. We have to nurture it. We have to get it to the point where it can be the best of all of the countries of the world, not just in CARICOM. And indeed, I wouldn't vex for if a Grenadian, a Vincentian, a Guyanese, a Jamaican, say the same thing about their own country. You see, I've always believed to get what I consider to be the optimum, to get to the superlative of any situation where human beings are concerned, everyone must do their part, conscious, and therefore the sum total of those parts and those actions should result in the escalation or reaching the highest heights that a particular either industry, a country, situation, whether it's in sports or whether it be in any other areas of human activity that is worth pursuing simply because a human being would have pursued it. I see that we have a call already, and it looks as though I don't know something like though. Okay, let's see, Marilyn. Let's see if we can get it. I'm shocked because I know the phone. Pleasant good night. Are you hearing me? Hello?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
good.
not getting on YouTube. I think I'm YouTuber.
No, we are there right now. Go and check and see. Right, corridor transformation.
Because I realize and I get into because right now I want to tell you about what's going on in the hospital in Port of Spain General.
Okay, but
Yes, you're low too.
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
Reboot. My technical person here is saying to reboot. Go back again. Type in corridor transformation and you should be there. Reboot. Go back again. All right, but if you want to talk now, go ahead. If you want to talk now, go ahead.
Oh no! Well, what really happened? Last 4 months I did an ultrasound where I was getting a pain. And then the center point after past St. James Hospital is about a place. I can't remember the name of the place, but they sent me there.
Okay.
I went to touch myself. They did an ultrasound. I asked them for the documents, and the ultrasound say I have to go back to Port of Spain General. And it's going in 4 months now. Right? I wait to see the results because right now I don't get paid.
Right, okay.
And up to now,
And let us all
so I want the government to find out what is going on in your time for white people suffering because it's not me alone.
And every time programs start, you will get it on your phone. They will not be looking.
Let her finish speak. No, go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead. Finish. Yeah.
What really happens is that in the hospital and them, you're getting problems, so everybody wants to know what really going on because it's not me alone. Plenty of people coming and cussing and getting on in the hospital and say, they're taking tests and them and they're not getting the result. They're sending them quite up after past St. James side for the ultrasound and thing, and they burn out. When they go back to the hospital, they can get it. And when they do go back in the hospital, they're not getting it.
Wow.
So right now, I don't want to know what's going on because right now I did a surgery in 1999. And but I have a kind of swelling.
Okay.
So I said, when I go in the health office gave me a letter to go to Port of Spain General Hospital. Right? When I went to the hospital, Well, not the maternity side, by the normal side, they set out, it had to go after, you had to go quite long to sit after past St. James. I can't remember the place in St. James.
Okay.
But you're not, you're getting the test, but you're not getting the result in time.
All
In
right.
case anything, you're getting a result.
All right.
So right now, we're calling up the Minister of Health
Okay.
to see what is going on in the hospital, because I find to myself, I don't know what really going on.
Okay. Because of your experience.
Results.
All right. We certainly will. Thanks very much for that piece of information. I will. We will talk about it tonight as well. All right. But boot up, as Mr. COP said. Boot up and press subscribe. So every time we are on, you will get us automatically. All right.
Well,
Okay.
if you send the link in, I don't want to, I have a tablet. Why don't watch it on?
All right. Same thing. You do. You just press subscribe. There's a subscribe button. Or some notification.
A little black bell button.
I sent a link or something now.
Yeah, ring
ring
the bell. Press the bell. The bell, a little black bell to the bottom. Just press it. All right. Okay. Thanks very much. Yes. Indeed.
Okay then, God.
Yeah. Bye bye. COP, I surprised that we got it on the system. I don't know the system was working. But we have.
But I wasn't here now.
You wasn't here now?
No, I wasn't here now.
All right. Okay. Well, that is why you were talking. All right. She has a medical problem. She's saying that the system stinks, and she wants it to be highlighted. She has to go. They have to give her the rigmarole. She goes for ultrasound one place, but she has to go back to the General Hospital in Port-au-Spain to get the results, not at the institution where she actually took the ultrasound. That is a prescription for chaos, for loss of documents and all of that, because they have to transfer the documents, and I'm sure they're doing it physically, not electronically, so you could get it to wherever you want to go immediately, like how you and I are talking here. So it appears that it's a sort of distressing and disheartening scenario for patients, especially those who are critically ill or have some potential and want to know what the status is. But let's go to the line. Professor, good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Professor, good night to you, Uncle Lennox, COP, and all the listeners. Share it live.
Yes, man.
Good night to you, Faizabad.
What I really called to tell you that the contribution I come back was that at the same time, I want to sort it out there.
Yes, okay.
But since I'm in line, I'll use my airtime to disrupt you and COP.
Go right ahead, my friend. Feel free. Yes, go ahead.
Ma'am, one, you went to the new wing at the hospital where Rowley built with the Alsing. It had a robot, because when you reach by the gate, they get your record and they don't check everything, and they see you're really sick too bad, so that why you didn't find a record in the hospital. Because
Faizabad is somebody who will help. You want to help. Faizabad is somebody who will help. You want to help.
So that is the PNM state at the hospital.
Faizabad, the lady will help.
Faizabad,
the lady will help.
Reality now, to see what the PNM did for we, that kind of thing that when they go for the General Hospital, we have to go Ikaka Health Center and Toko, because that's how they leave it for we. So be a little patient, ma'am. Help is here. Help will come when help is needed. 2 more little patient with you, and we'll get a full ward just now. But Uncle Lennox,
yeah, go ahead.
last night you was on a topic, and there's a lot take up my phone to call you. You shut down the show. Why?
But Murphy's Law. Somebody just tell me almost every morning on the ground report, boy, you could have Murphy's Law, boy. Like I invent that law. But go ahead.
No, it's not Murphy's Law, it's PNM law, boy. Because you know what Uncle Lennox. The PNM, I just started lambast them. Everything going clear. Then I said, my boy COP, that I don't want to pay to stay on the station. But when I see you get the same problem on him, Wassa, it's only when he did get that program. So I have that apologize on the COP from every night, because the PNM, like the bullying you. You're going to talk about that last night tonight?
Yeah, part of it, but I'm so impressed with the performance and the, let's say, the rolling back of the critics of our Prime Minister, I think we have to put things in perspective and really look granularly and always and also technically as well as meticulously what she has done to reach this point where all of CARICOM is now, of course, almost eaten out of her hands.
Yeah, and every bronc, now he's thinking, share that bronc. Yeah. He eating the words. He said that he could be proud and is this and that good. But them and that TNM and Rowley wanted the zone of peace and to say that Maduro is a good president. But you see, when he has statesmanship in you and you're right, and you stand your ground, you load the matic, you empty it and you load it, and you stand your ground and you push back. That was get because you know why? Who paid the piper quality tune? And you see when Rowley tried to mislead the Caribbean, they get to realize that what they pass you in, it's how you to do your program and call back.
I hear you, my friend. Yeah, I mean, whatever you conjure up, of course, within the context of decency as a caller about this situation, it will be accepted here on the corridor transformation. You see, our Prime Minister has been castigated, she has been maligned, she has been degraded, she has been subjected to all kinds of vitriolic and excoriating remarks, insulting, even because of her gender. She has been castigated for and, of course, humiliated. The intention is that. But we have seen and we are satisfied that she cannot be humiliated. We have seen that she is able to be as tolerant as Job. She has been able to, of course, surpass and ride above some of the criticisms that would have been leveled against her since, in particular, after the 28th of April, because that event in itself triggered all kinds of wishful thinking of a pernicious evil, and of course, I wish she this, and I wish she that, but of course, the that and the this is always in some negative light. But today, she has risen as a shining star, a diamond, having smoothed off all of the rough edges, and to be as valuable as the most valuable. In fact, I should use the term, she is now invaluable, meaning it is so valuable you can't pay for it. Yeah, that is the meaning of invaluable, even though it's so different. Invaluable. She is invaluable to not only Trinidad and Tobago, not only Guyana, Jamaica, St. Vincent, Dominica, and of course Venezuela. She is invaluable because her stance and her position has always been one as constant as consistent and constant as the Northern Star, and as immutable as a cent. Immutable as a cent, can't change. And we saw that consistency, we saw that level of quality, we saw that level of stateswomanship in this case, but of course the generic term is statesmanship. But I want to change the vocabulary in that regard because she stands out as extremely significant, extremely above what is expected, and as some people would say, punching above her weight. And we must give her credit for that. And this tonight's program is dedicated to that reality.
And what she also do is expose. Yes. What she also do is expose the hypocrisy of the Caribbean leaders and them, because someone in the line there.
Yeah, my son telling me to say she's priceless. You see, he want to get in the conversation.
Well, that's wrong with that. But he will reach 18 just now.
Yeah, he still will reach. He'll have his own program in a while.
Good night to you, Jazz. Yes. She exposed the hypocrisy of all those CARICOM leaders and them. All of them. They was abusive. They was abusive to Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister. And when you asking for accountability, how could you write to the Secretary General and 3-4 years you will get a response, and other CARICOM leaders could brush off that as nothing, as if Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister looking for mischief and to pull away from CARICOM. Look at one who look like Hitler, who had the little mustache like Hitler, Gaston Brown.
He Gaston Brown.
He
Yes.
glad to sit down. You can remember when he was calling with you over here and talking about we want money and we want money. He glad to sit down next to she now.
Yes, man. Yes, man.
All of them have to
yes.
come to Trinidad. Even, and let me point further too, even Venezuela. You see the shipment that goods gone? What they call she? Some guy, what's the name they call she? Venezuelan call the Prime Minister?
Persona non grata at one time.
Persona non grata, yes. Look, that persona non grata send up big shipment and they're accepting it. You have to accept it, the whole, everybody have to listen now. Because when you're looking for accountability, you should look for accountability right through. And with accountability, a country will prosper, a country will grow, the future of the country will develop. Yeah. Lennox.
Yes, man. But let's just put it in perspective. Where did all this start? I think it's important that we put things in perspective right now and let the population understand that Trinidad and Tobago is riding a very, very high horse, a very, very significant horse, a very, very important horse, a very, very, should I say, influential horse because of the presence and the actions of our Prime Minister, who, in spite of the recriminations and the criticisms, she stood her ground, and today make all of us in Trinidad proud, as well as CARICOM in general, and in the face of all kind of hegemony elements, because here hegemony means, of course, states with influence, like the United States. I am sure that they too are looking and saying, this woman is a hell of a woman. She is, of course, one of a kind, and therefore must be given the kind of status that is accorded extremely superior and superlative leader. Yes, and this is no fame given for free. This is no attempt to pacify or to create the situation where one grovels. It is reality, is what transpired, and therefore we must acknowledge that fact. So where it came from, where it started, well, people would know. Let's go back to a bit of history at the same time and then come to the point where we have reached today. Well, as you know, this whole journey of CARICOM started with what was called the Federation that was founded in 1958. Yes, just after, of course, the PNM came on the scene, Eric William, etc., and the Federation was formed. Of course, it lasted a short time because it was disintegrated in 1962 with the Prime Minister of Trinidad at the time making the most awkward equation. The most awkward, as young people would say, take away some. He said 1 from 10 leaves none. 1 from 10 leaves none. Of course, you know that 1 from 10 leaves 9, but he was referring, of course, to the mashing up of that federation that comprised of at least 11 member states at that point in time. So 1 from 10 leaves 9. And that was because Jamaica pulled out in 1961 and got their independence, And Trinidad and Tobago follow suit, and that is why that statement still abounds today. And many of you who are historians and so on will know, if not, of course, our children should be familiar. That is what this program tonight is all about as well, to make certain that they understand, and they understand the background and the history. Well, of course, in between there, 1963, Carifta was born. Carifta was born and lasted until 1965. Carifta was born in 1963 and lasted until 1965. That was the successor entity to bring the Caribbean countries together. So there was always this vision, this notion, this intent, this inclination, this urge to come together, because they understood, united we stand, divided we fall. And of course, unity here can take different forms, and we can assess that on another occasion. But what we are talking about is the historical antecedent. And then, of course, we had the imposition of CARICOM in 1973. 1973, CARICOM was born right here in Trinidad. Of course, four countries, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guyana formed that initial four of the inaugural CARICOM, let's put it that way. Yes, in 1973. And then, of course, after that, a lot of time passed, and we had, of course, several developments. We have had ups and downs. We have had, of course, to-in and fro-in. We have had differences in opinion. Everybody wants to, of course, get to their own interests at the forefront of, for and on behalf of their respective countries, and nothing wrong with that. But then came the revised version of the Chaguaramas Accord, or the Chaguaramas Agreement, from 1973. And of course, in 2001, date is important, 2001, in the Bahamas, in Nassau, Bahamas, the capital there, well, the revised version of CARICOM was born. And what that did is add significantly, not only created the Caribbean Court of Justice, but also, of course, the CSME, which, of course, is a mechanism that was designed to make sure that there would have been traveling between islands much more easily, doing business, moving capital, moving, of course, people with skills and so on, the CSME. And I think those were the two significant as far as the difference and the addition to the existing at the time CARICOM in 2001. 2001, of course, you would recall in Trinidad, the 1818 scenario. But before that, it was Basil Pandey who signed on behalf of Trinidad and Tobago in the Bahamas to inaugurate the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. And then, of course, in 2003, this is important, 2003, that convention, that agreement was ratified in Trinidad and Tobago's parliament, because you have these agreements that are among countries, but you have to certify it in your own country before it becomes law or you participate. Well, by that time, Patrick Manning would have been the prime minister, and he initiated that aspect of it. Why am I saying all of that? To indicate the level of cooperation, the level of ambition, the level of vision of our leaders over time to bring the region together as one grouping with one voice, etc. We saw, of course, a scuttling of that when the Americans came in, and we are talking now recent times. The Americans came in That is within everybody's memory. And more significantly, because it was not there, that scenario, let us get it clear. That scenario with Venezuela was not there when Kamala Persad Bissessar was Prime Minister between 2010 and 2015. That was not there. In fact, the President Maduro came here. Of course, by the time the government changed and under Rowley and the PNM, the relationship between Venezuela and the United States turned sour. There was too much human rights violation there. Over 4 million of the 27 million migrated out of there, Trinidad and Tobago. Up to today, it's reeling from about 100,000. Some say more. But I want to be as conservative as possible. If you talk to Rowley and they go tell you it's only 40-something thousand. But you see them too frequently all over the country to not apply your common sense to know it has to be at least more than 40,000. But that is water under the bridge because Rowley and they are no longer there. But what they did whilst they were in government is to anchor themselves to the Venezuelan and that regime. And I could give you a plethora of incidents where when they were to act in the best interests of Trinidad and Tobago, as Kamala Persad Bissessar, as soon as she got the opportunity, has done, they malingered and they talked about what Trump could do. All of that in the parliament as well. And of course, when he was not invited in the first rounds, when Trump was for the first time president, and invited, of course, Caribbean leaders to his home in Miami, in Florida, it was Rowley who came up and said, I had it last night, but the quality is not good, so I'll play it the next time. But it's he who said when he wasn't invited, how could we measure our foreign policy by a man who didn't invite us into his home? That is not Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm saying that because that level of arrogance and that level of hubris and that level of self-serving, megalomaniac or what I consider to be egotistic has proven to be a detriment to Trinidad and Tobago. It reminds me of when the UNC was sharing hampers Christmas time, and he tell his constituents in Carnage and elsewhere, but of course Diego Martin West, he said, listen, we don't want that, only bigger than that, but replace it with nothing. Only bigger than that. What he in fact told the people is to starve. It's to starve. That's what he tell them. Don't take
but
it.
But they didn't take the hamper.
Go ahead.
They did not take the hamper.
I know, they were telling him, tell them don't take it, and they didn't take it. Because he says so, but replace it with nothing. That's the point I'm making. He did the same thing in Tobago when, of course, he felt on top of the clouds. When the Calcutta ship scenario came about, and when Top lost their status in Tobago, he was proud about that. And he said, if I and all wanted a food card, I could have bring it, but my interpretation is he told the Tobago people that they're trying to insult you, don't take it. But he has not provided anything, and that has been the curse that he portrayed in government for too long between 2015 and the 28th of April last year. It's what
Worse than Jim Jones.
I'm telling you, man, massive. You see, I am saying this because I want those people with some residual affinity, some residual liking. I say residual, meaning that you know they ain't good. You know they're unhealthy. You know that they're toxic. You know that they're a cesspool of evil and iniquities. But yet still, somehow, because of what they're saying, remember, Christ was tempted by the devil. Say all of those lands and And goodies that you see there will be yours if you only kneel down to me. But that is what the PNM did to our African brothers and sisters. And I'm talking here now specifically in the East-West Corridor context. East-West Corridor. Because it is there that they manipulated and gerrymandered the electoral process in order to stay in office for too long. But let's go to the line.
Nadia, good night to you.
Yes, let's go to the line. President, good night. And afterwards, of course, COP, you will mention those who are on the chat before I go further. President, good night. Welcome.
Good night to the honorable political leader of love, the rocket, the man himself, and the honorable Mr. COP there. You know, sometimes
good night to you, brother.
Donkey years, I always communicate with you, and this brother, this strong grassroots diehard soldier of the soil, Mr. COP, you know, is one of a kind. This brother, he have always stand up for democracy, for the people, the voiceless ones as yourself, me, and multiple other activists. But persons, you know, the strong, the stalwarts on them, lightning thunder could strike, but we always there ready to help, put a helping hand, as the words say. Because look, Lennox, you could have been sleeping in bed. My brother here, Mr. COP, right? He could have been also probably doing something, but we trying to make TNT great again, just as other post-war country, right? Lennox, you know, have something disturbing about.
Go ahead.
I've seen it have. I wouldn't talk about it too much, but I want to bring it, and it have to come out to the air, because it have persons from a particular one. I would not call his name. He tell me that our persons say that how not to highlight my issues. This why they mustn't highlight my issues? I have serious issues to be addressed. And Lennox, you was helping me over.
But let me tell you this. Let me just pause. Let me just stick a little pin there. I want to tell you this. There are people who will befriend you, or there are people who are your friend who you will take into confidence, right? And if it is in your interest to pursue a particular course that will remedy the issue that you would have had, and a friend telling you do not do it. I've heard too many of those stories to know that these kinds of individuals are not your friend. They will not be my friend. No, it doesn't mean that you are going to discard them all entirely. But mentally, you must be firm in your mind that this cannot be my friend. This person cannot be my friend. Discouraging me in that way, something in my interest. I just want to make that point before you continue. But go ahead, my friend.
Thank you very much for elaborating and breaking it down very simple for the average man to understand what is happening. Now, we have, Trinidad and Tobago is not a GSO country. Over the years, we govern this country by laws. We have laws, and rules and regulation where we have to follow and abide. Why it is these things is not being upheld at this point in time? Right? Because we see, just imagine, not a private company, but a state agency, a state entity. They are being, they're breaking the laws in this land. We have collective agreement, Industrial Relations Act, we have constitution, we have the laws, what the labor laws, and them. This freedom fighter, one of, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Pandey. He bring these things, and I remember as a little boy, I used to watch, and he used to have on a beret, a red beret, right? And they fight for these laws, but I asked him for the authority to recognize these issues and correct it. But I don't want to get in specifically in it because it will go in is an explanation by itself. But
yeah.
it will come up again.
Of course.
Come out and we want action. We want questions, boy. Because, Mr. Lennox, how come a state agency not honoring these laws we have? Why they're not following the laws of our land? But I will stay right there.
I hear you. I hear you.
Before I go, because
And I want to tell you, and I want to tell you off air that once Lennox Smith gets the opportunity, I'm certainly going to pursue it with every sinew in my being, because I think it is an injustice, or put another way, we have to seek justice where justice is due. And I am the type of individual who will go to the farthest reach in order to seek that righteousness, that justice for persons who have been disadvantaged or taken advantage of. I want to tell you that, Mr. St. Joseph, from the bottom of my heart. But let us go.
And that is that is the responsibility we have as human beings.
Yes.
To stand for the needy, to support the needy, to create opportunity, to ask the leaders and them to assist the needy. That is our responsibility.
Yes.
And they must recognize what we do. But let me say good night to Jaulet and Nadia and Rajendra Marajan. Jaulet, good night to you. Faizabad, Sherry, Anna, good night. First time the lockdown night, good night. Rexing, good night to you. Monica Johnson, good night to you. Good night, Brian. Good night. Thanks for being on the Corridor Transformation. And right now we have 153. If you share the program with one of your friends, we will have 300. So by appreciating and supporting, you could just share it for one friend and raise the numbers. And each one of you outside who don't know, all you have to do is just press the notification, and every time the program come on, you'll get a notification on your phone. And I'm going to tell the callers on them too. I know everybody has had the topics and that has had the agenda, but while you all having the agenda, make sure and linking back to the topic that we're speaking about. So what we're speaking about will mean something.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, man. And of course, from time to time, just pause, and we will, of course, recognize some of those who, at one time I used to do it, but at the end of the program, and it was a bit tedious to call everybody and you're sleepy. So I think I really appreciate the fact that you are there. Let me see what is happening here. People are hearing it on the system, but I think I better, out of an abundance of caution, let me use the handset. Pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Hello, good night, Mr. Lennox and Mr. COP.
Yeah, man.
And the former PSC worker there who was talking there, that's my brother. I know he's a true warrior and a true fighter in the UNC. And he going through the issues and not getting a just. And the friend who tell him not to speak out, tell our friend, all. Because who feels it knows it. But if you don't speak out, the voice will never be heard. You ain't looking for no friend when any political dance. Because we, as activists and supporters of soldiers in the UNC, I see in pure wickedness, pure discrimination, especially around certain MPs and things. They try to make my Prime Minister look bad because she have a good intention. Like they want you to go out in the sunset happy or what? They want you to go to that legacy or what? They try to belong to legacy. But let me get down to the issues here. I talk on behalf of 1,000 workers, single mothers, single fathers, and the poor and the needy and the downtrodden. Lennox,
yeah.
You know as a man, me lie down on my belly and me get nothing easy. I go out there and get an opportunity from a nice Muslim guy, give me the opportunity with the work we're going on here, Lennox. I'm going out there every day and doing the work. When I go out there, the coordinator, them who in charge of the work, they're not telling me when we getting pay. They only say now, like, pay coming, go and check in the bank, no pay. Well, today, we patients run out, and we want to know the answers. And I is a old school, I know the ground. So, Butuma went down Otarama. Otarama, I want to go to Kent House. I went by a certain ministry. Nice Indian girl, helpful. Call Kent House. Kent House, I want to go back Otarama. So we went to Otarama this morning. We went down Kent House. But boy said he need answers. So when we go down thinking a nice big bottom lady carry upstairs till she feel a higher head. Call the woman, Miss Joseph, who in charge of the program. You know what they're telling 1,000 people? They're not on the payroll.
Yeah.
And the man who's supposed to be doing the job, the coordinator, he now come out and tell the plan them. And he send us certain documents by the PS and nobody know when they get pay. School closed.
And they work 4 fortnights, sir?
4 fortnights.
To get this, to get that. You know, I send that information to my foreman. You know, he send a voice note. They go into the group, everybody cussing.
KFC saw what are the radio and stuff lying on the people and them. How you can work 4 fortnights and then understand?
Because I feel it's still a pain and people are wrong. Try to victimize the government. It have shown UNC, bright UNC activists can fit their position and do the work at the UNC. When they come out and talk, they say you're bad talking the government. But I come out and talk because I was cussing the PNM for the last 9 years. Certain activists were saying, yes, KFC, certain radio owners, I will join me in our studio and say, use KFC, you're doing a wonderful job. No one is looking to talk, they're cheap parasite trying to silence me now. I know what's going on. Because when a man singing free supper and sucking on the bone, them don't care about our next poor man, you know. They only care about themselves. So I calling on the Honorable Prime Minister, go down and investigate because that African people suffering, you know. It's Indian people suffering because I never show go on us. Me pushing race. All over that white people not getting pay, some getting pay and some not getting pay. That the rest are Lennox.
Yeah, no, of course, of course.
They tell me I get money, I go and have to check, push my card, and make me go and open and call my mother. Give me she last $100 for me to open the account. 5 months, 5 fortnight, no me get pay, and me knowing when I get 10 pay. So I live in my guest tower. Internet bill going up. I don't pay water rate, I don't pay light bill. Thank God I have a nice beautiful wife. She working this that and the thing covered. And this morning, Lennox, I'm going to tell you something. You see David Welch and them? Them as oppressors to the own black people and them. Because I went in the agency to launch a company, now they cutting the grass in the back here, and I see Philip Alexander. And I talk to him, he go along with Philip Alexander and trying to tell the security to them, pull out. You know me, I don't care. Because you eating, you drinking, you working for $26,000 a month. Every talking about the UNC activists and them, they supposed to get nothing, but he get. He work in agency, he work in TTT board. And when I was at 91.9 every duty and them, everybody was praising me and singing after me. But who job bless no man curse? Because I get a lifetime opportunity. 2024 when I was cussing the PN in my whole house for my 2 children and them. Bless.
Right, my friend. I want to tell you, my friend, well, and let me just say by way of disclosure, he was in the office today at our research center right here on George Street, and he did give me a copy of the document that certified that he is in fact employed with Apache. I'm going to read it tomorrow night. I didn't want to mix that with tonight, but since he called in, I think it is right for me to at least give a cursory explanation as to why he is acting in that way. But he raised something as well that we will discuss tomorrow as well.
Listen. How could someone working, I would say it's for the ministry, because that's a ministry project.
Yeah.
Could be working 5 fortnights. And every morning you're signing a book and signing off. and your name not on the pay roster. Which spot in the world that has happened?
It appears that only in that project. What else I will say? According to him, that's why you see I want to make
The
sure.
foreman taking your name.
Yes.
The foreman taking down your name, supervisor taking down your name and signing, and 5 fortnight, you're not you pay your name not valid to get paid?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ghost gang done, right?
And the what?
That ghost gang done?
Puga.
Ghost gang.
Manager?
Ghost gang.
Oh, you. Okay. Right. I have a guy in here now who said he got 4 salaries already.
Oui, papa.
Right? And so there are others who didn't get any at all. So that kind of discrepancy is probably more than a discrepancy. It may be a plan. Never could tell. But he raised something that I would raise tomorrow night. Is sudden avalanche of what I consider to be persons who have arrogated unto themselves, who deem themselves frontline spokespersons for the UNC and were never seen in real terms prior to that. And prior to even when it was prior to the elections, at a certain point in time, they were not seen either. But yet still claiming, arrogating unto themselves, the awesome responsibility that you and I and Andy and Mikey and others know. I have not seen any one of them organize any kind of what I consider to be not even successful, but any kind of non-successful action that will highlight and cause the tremendous victory that occurred on the 28th of April last year. I see that. He raised it, but I have a duty and responsibility, especially in the context. I don't mind if you believe that what you would have done, whatever it is, comparatively speaking, or in your own illusion or concept, that you did enough to get what you have, but what you would have gotten, what I am detesting, what I'm arguing, is the fact that you would use your position, and because you would have gotten that position rightfully, wrongfully, or otherwise, by deception, by attempts to give yourself a position in terms of your contribution more than you deserve. But to tell another fella who is seeking his own pot of gold, so to speak, to influence, even by way of utterance, I want to tell those persons, please take a different route and have a concerning word, have a sympathetic word to others who are making similar claims like you, and the veracity of which and the extent of it and the input that they would have made may well have been better, if not more, or if not more significant than yours. That cannot occur under a UNC coalition of interest regime, where you have a group of individuals who would have gotten their piece of the pie, or satisfied with their piece of the pie, and then when others are seeking, they then say to them, nothing for you. Or if worse yet, if they have the position so to do, determine whether they should eat or not, as equal members or equal contributors to the cause that is, of course, the UNC coalition of interest. I want to tell you this. God don't sleep. And all of those who run in front and giving the impression that they are members of the ground report or members of the corridor transformation, or is a Lennox Smith or Andy Williams or Michael Kerr. I want to tell you, change your course. Please. There's no room for that kind of what I consider to be projected agony onto others who would have not yet gotten and are waiting. But simply because you got, you want to tell somebody else who is trying to get not to, or discourage them, rather than, of course, whether privately or otherwise. There are many ways to skin a cow, some people say. And I expect that you will find one way so to do. This kind of public menacing antagonism has to cease. Has to. I have heard too much of that. And I speak with unlimited authority in that regard, because eventually they will find you out. We have 4 more years. They'll find you out. They will know of your inadequacy. They will know of your deception. They will know of your hoodwinking and gaslighting. And then you may have to come to people like me to salvage and to say a good word for you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I'm trying to get the telephone here. I'm hearing a call here. COP, tell me, you getting that call? Are you hearing that?
Nah.
You're not hearing it.
I hear you.
You're hearing me, but you're not hearing that call. Something is wrong. All right. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. Let me just find out.
Pleasant good night to you.
Yes.
Lennox Smith and the co-host COP plus and the listening public. Pleasant good night.
Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Lennox Smith.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could do my little favor.
Go ahead.
If you could get in contact with the Minister of Health, they need to do a sting operation in the Point Fortin Hospital, because too many people is complaining about the service they are getting there. It is terrible.
All right.
In terms of appointment to do surgeries or appointment to do wherever clinics they have, it is terrible. One person traveled with my car the other morning and she told me she had an appointment Tuesday gone.
Uh-huh.
She gone in there, she handing her card. And I don't know if it's the receptionist or the doctor, but one of the staff asked where she get his card from. She said, when you want to get his card from, she said, I get the card from right here in the hospital. They call it, or let's stamp the heading Point Fortin Hospital, everything on it. Mm-hmm. My appointment, they put the appointment date for Tuesday. Some clinic she had, I can't even remember. But they are telling she that wherever it is, sign off on that document, they may know who is that person who do that. Wow. So she said, well, I mean, I don't know who do that. She said, like it's ghost walking inside here. And then turn around and tell she that wherever she come to do is not on a Tuesday, it's on a Friday. She said, but somebody doing something wrong here, because everything signed off on the card, and she's not the first person I hear talking about that. Every time people get an appointment for a particular day when they have to go clinic, they keep paying it all. So somebody had to look into the healthcare in the hospital, because it's real terrible. People are complaining.
All right, my friend.
They're real complaining.
I certainly good.
And I think I did tell you the last time.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to find what we're really going to, you cannot talk to the staff. You have to talk to the public. Okay. Let the health minister engage them. Let the public tell the ministry work going on in your hospital so they could fix it from the ground level. You can't fix it from the upper level where the management and the CEO is concerned. They will just be covering up stuff. Talk to the people on the ground and understand what they're going through. That is the only way you're going to fix the problem from the bottom up, not from the top come down.
All right.
Right, Lennox Smith?
Thank you very much. CP, you heard any part of that?
No.
None.
All right, okay, then we have to do some adjustments here. But yeah, we talked about, of course, some kind of a slipshod work that is being done in the Point Fortin Hospital. And of course, people who are making appointments, when they show up for their appointments, they are telling them that nobody knows whose handwriting is that, who would have given them that appointment. But of course, we have seen in Trinidad already. For was practicing to be practicing medical service for a very long time until he was caught. So I don't know if that has been extended to the public hospital. I also know of a guy who was playing police and going in police station and writing up a diary and so on. Eventually they found out that he was not police. So I don't know if it's that scenario that he's referring to, but certainly it is something that is troubling because people's health is their wealth, some people say, as well as the fact that everybody wants to get better when they would have fallen sick, and all of us are so susceptible and vulnerable. So we'll
I
see
can
how
answer
that
that
pans out.
easy.
But go ahead, my friend. Yeah, go ahead.
I can answer that very easy.
Go ahead.
I can understand what's taking place in the health system, with especially some of those senior citizens and most vulnerable. But the destruction that the PNM leave in the health system and the denial of healthcare for the past 10 years, I don't think that this coalition of interests can fix that problem in 1 year time. This system need more time to fix that healthcare system. I have confidence in Minister of Health, and especially with Tim Bopissing inside it. I believe things going to change around thing. But they can't do that in 1 year. And one thing I want to talk to about the topic raised with activists and people who get opportunity and things. When I speak on radio, I don't speak for government to give me no opportunity. I speak for the vulnerable, and the ones who get the opportunity, and the ones who get opportunities about themselves and achieving and benefiting. Telling yourself you're there. That ain't no opportunity. It shows the deceit in human, in my view. And I'm going to tell you why it is always here. I say this for years. A greedy man. This just put on size. A greedy man just get so fat. Just put on size. When you get older, you just can't even see about yourself. And I just talk to Frank and say that. Today I see him. As little as it is. Today I see him. I am as proud little as it is of some of the activists that I am proud of some of the activists that I have been supported for years. Get the opportunity to make a little dollar. The money not big, but don't feel you making a little dollar and the ones who you know do the same thing what you doing for years, calling radio station, and nothing coming them way. And only will be rude to them, disrespectful to them. They want to take the call today, banning UNC callers from a government radio station, state-owned media. Whilst they are a citizen, they have a constitutional responsibility and a duty to call state program if they want. All they take it up on their own. That is not a private radio station. That is not a private station, that is a state media. And all they take it up on their own to ban who all they want, when they get called, and being unfair to the same people and them that all they was supporting for years. Watching all their heart and look in the mirror and ask all yourself if that is the right thing. If all they give that person the opportunity to speak his mind, if all they're going to lose anything, All not going to lose nothing. Because the same way they're leaving all them PNM people, them must be listening. They're leaving all them PNM people them to condemn the UNC, condemn the government, criticize the government, and UNC callers, supporters, calling to ask for opportunity, and I doing nothing, I was something to do, and only vexing with them and cutting them off, and that person supported everything that the government doing. Only looking at their heart, looking at their heart. People just get sick for that behavior, It's a sinful behavior. Don't feel your opportunity and your success is to deny other people opportunity, Your success is to create opportunity for the ones who don't have opportunity. That is why you get an opportunity. And I don't like to talk about these things,
No, we have to, because it is becoming, let's say, a central topic. It is becoming too hackneyed now. It is being a recurring decimal, and therefore it has to be addressed. And I want to tell you, go to the top of the class, because the extent to which you would have been given an opportunity.
Let me just say this part. What I seen and observing, the UNC supporters and them, who was against some of the UNC supporters, because those UNC supporters was criticizing the UNC. Today, those UNC supporters and them supporting them full 100. Even the PNM supporters and them, callers and the PNM who get opportunity. Those same UNC supporters supporting the ones who was kicking brass and denying the UNC for years. Them same UNC activists and them loving them PNM activists, loving those hypocrites and them, and denying the activists and them that they support for years, who stand up together with for years. They stand up together. Today them vexing with them, the ones that stand up with and loving.
As I said, I don't want to go too deep into this topic. As I said, we're going to treat with that tomorrow, because I have KFC's letter and all of that to read out and all of that to make certain that we understand the issues. But broadly speaking, and on a principled position, I would want to caution those who would have gotten an opportunity, whether it is legitimate or whether you feel it was legitimate, or whether others feel that it may not have been as legitimate as you would have felt, because they might have felt that they worked harder. They worked consistently. And today, because of an opportunity, you believe that you can give advice to those who, among them, you know would have worked harder than you. But yet still, you are trying to deprive. You see, I am saying this from the perspective, because I've always been saying this. I remember for Mr. David, a very outspoken, a very articulate, a very grounded activist, coming out of the NAR experience into the UNC, etc. For Mr. David, remember him? And every time he and some of his cohorts would come to me to have discussions and so on of one kind or another, and they will always complain. And listen, we are no board. We can't get, of course, a managerial position somewhere or a supervisory position. Is always the scrums. And I told them, and that is why I'm so happy to see that by and large we are on our way. But these little, what I consider to be impediments, would stand in the way. But I want to make the point. I told them that every single party in government, particularly the PNM, but of course those who would have succeeded, would have been successful against the PNM from time to time, whether it's the NAR, etc., they see, of course, the ordinary grassroots individual as political, what I consider to be political pawns, political nothing, only to be used, in other words. And I have always told them that they have to position themselves in a way that during the campaign and then entering the victory arena or the era, you must have put in sufficient, what I consider to be strategizing in order to be recognized so that you can get your just due. I think by and large, over time, I've seen it happen, because let's face it, I think, comparatively speaking, more UNC grassroots persons would have gotten opportunity than that of the PNM, for example. In spite of the fact that people say that PNM, but you see the PNM's approach is a give people 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different positions. They call it the interlocking directorate. Look, one man on 4 and 5 boards. And the UNC, of course, is much different. Even though you may have a person who might find themselves on 2 or 3, but certainly not 5 and 6 boards, as the PNM would have done. So that the perception is that because that person is in your face almost everywhere, it looks as though the PNM grassroots are getting thing, and therefore one could conclude that, listen, the PNM are treating their people different to that of the UNC. No, the UNC has been treating with their activists much more fairly, much more what I consider to be considerately than that of the PNM, if you compare it with the PNM. But let's deal with the UNC and comparing the UNC with UNC, meaning that the person who has not yet gotten and the person who has gotten. It is a burning shame. It is unacceptable to use your office to try to prevent. The UNC is about all inclusivity, not division, not divide and rule, not fragmentation, because it is that would get us expeditiously, quickly out of office, with you being a contributor, because you will not, you believe that you should be as selfish as possible, as egotistic as possible, as high-handed as possible, as disrespectful as possible, not, or want of a better term, not realizing that the extent to which the party remains in government and with future elections would depend on how you, in the position that you would have been given, manage others who have not yet been given or who are quarreling that they have not been given, making comparisons, because they are not quarreling in a vacuum. You hear people talk about Twiggy, for example. The authorities may not want me to mention that. But there are those who are saying that, listen, how come Twiggy and not me? And I'm not asking for much. I'm probably asking for much less than Twiggy. Or to put it another way, much less than what was given to Twiggy. I use it, Twiggy, of course, as a sample or as an example, not to castigate or to in any way deprive. But I'm saying all this, however, to say that it is the party and therefore the government overall has the responsibility to make certain that all are treated equitably, meaning that according to their own, let's say, abilities. And if you pay attention to that as a caution, as an admonition, you would see that many of them don't want much. Take, for instance, KFC. He's satisfied, obviously, with the little opportunity that he would have gotten to put food on the table. But it cannot be in circumstances where it appears that he's being punished. And he will think so. You can't vex with him. Because it is easy to say others didn't get 5 pay either. Why he quarreling? It's easy to say that. But as the decision makers and the ones that are implementing these policies and programs to spread the opportunities that will reach those activists, I'm talking here strictly activists, not the general population, not even those who are PNM sycophants but also are entitled, of course, to eat. I must say that. But the point I'm making is I am focusing on the activists that would have been contributing or would have contributed to where we are today as a party or as parties and as government. I say no more. There could be no more grassroots than Lennox Smith. There can be no more keener observer than Lennox Smith. And bet your bottom dollar, all of the major visions that the ground report would have echoed would have come from this little fella from Laventille Head. There are things that are not yet told. And none of them, from top to bottom, could have done and was prepared to do with the level of sacrifices, I say plural sacrifices, that attended those missions and those actions. So be careful. If you try something and you get through, you cannot use that position to tell somebody else who is lurking and wanting, listen, nothing for you. I will see to it, and so on. That high-handed, arrogance, contemptuous, when all of us are supposed to be one family. Let me repeat, all of us are supposed to be one family. And in the fullness of time, let me tell you this. It took me 3 years in the first iteration of the UNC to get a board appointment. I'm saying the first iteration of the UNC under Kamala Prasad Bisesa. 3 years. Of course, under Bazio Pandey, it took moments because as he visited the Laventille and visited the Labas and so on, he pointed me in the audience and said, Mr. Smith, tomorrow we're making a decision to make you a director of the SBDC. So I have been there. I have worked in the vineyards and I have worked in the trenches. So I know nobody could boast that they get a appointment and believe that they could make Lennox Smith feel ahow. But however, those persons who never got and who have expectations, they are the ones that are going to feel it. They are the ones going to feel it psychologically and in their pockets. And those of you who got it, if you are certainly conscious, you cannot use it as a weapon to beat the people to accept their position when they were like you and you were like them. And suddenly you get a position and you feel that you're bigger than everybody else. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it. A word for the wise is sufficient for one to mend their ways. A word for the wise or to the wise is sufficient for one to mend their ways. But let's get back, of course, to the substantive topic.
Just now, Lennox.
Go ahead.
Just now. Because we went a little deep there.
Of course.
We went a little deep over there.
Intentionally.
Lennox Smith, I have been hearing you saying you're willing. And you just not getting that opportunity. And let me tell you something. You see supporters and UNC activists and them, if they come out I really don't want to be amongst these people that much, you know. That is why you see, I don't really want to be amongst, because you must be independent. That is why I never ask for nothing. No government minister can come and say, COP come by me for this and come by me for that and thing, because I want to be independent. You are a leader of the coalition of interest. You know all of them who will try to condemn me, and you know all of them shame to say Lennox Smith supposed to be a senator, Lennox Smith supposed to be on WASA board, this board, fire board, or some kind of Lennox Smith supposed to be the getting opportunity. You know them shame. They shame to say them thing, and they are them get opportunity. Them supposed to say Lennox Smith is a fighter, he's a warrior for the UNC, he is a UNC activist, he's an educated man. And they were ashamed to say that. What is independence? What are they standing up for? Yes, you're standing up to keep your party in power, but your action is running the activists and them. Not you, but the supporters who keeping a blind eye. That is running the people and them. And I want to tell all them talk show hosts and them and Talk City. Remember why I telling all of you? Executive eyes on you all. The executive eyes on you all. You all not supposed to be insultive to the public. You all supposed to encourage the public. You all supposed to capture the 15-year-old boy and the 15-year-old girl who looking to vote 2030. All is supposed to be motivating them and encouraging them, inspiring them. Not eating and drinking and telling yourself all these big boys. At this point, watch executive eyes on you all.
Yeah, the journey has now started. Understand that. Take it from the wise, the experienced.
They're supposed to be
knowledgeable.
All they have a responsibility on air to grow the UNC. That is the responsibility to have in the air. To encourage people to support the UNC, not to be ignorant to the public.
Yeah.
And all I can tell them is hold your hand, have patience, better days are coming.
Yeah, but let me tell you this. I didn't want to go there, and I say I'm going to deal with this topic tomorrow, but essentially, I want to tell you, I have been through the mills with respect to that. People obviously know that I'm better than them. So I remember one time under the NAR, a proposal was thrown up, I think, when Robinson, as Prime Minister, visited Belmont and at the Belmont Secondary School, yes. They wanted, of course, somebody to liaise between the government and the community. I was not present at the time, but a very good friend who knows said, he raised his hands and said, Lennox Smith is the man. Guess what? A person who I assisted on numerous occasions held her hand to and fro, manipulating a little clout in the whole process, said, no, and raised an alarm. The crowd was more shocked than conforming to what she would have said. All that time, Emilio was pumping. There could have been, the ambassadors want to see Lennox Smith. Governments are making statements on behalf of Emilio saying we're thanking you for helping Emilio and so on. And the person who I would have expected to be on the bandwagon with the others, the person who raised the suggestion of Lennox Smith, was shocked, appalled. He said, boy, I get so much fight down, I decided to remain quiet. I said all this to say, not only have I been there, And I've always said it, that ability is ability. I remember Anand Ramlogan, after he was fired from the office of the Attorney General. Warner asked me to be the liaison person for a particular project that we house at the Queen's Park Savannah, anti-crime initiative, but I had to be the liaison man. So I realized, well, listen, if it is that I have to do that, then, and everybody getting paid, then I submitted my bill before I started work. I say for that period, what is about a month we would have been working, I want $45,000. I know my value, I know my worth. None of them ain't going inside Mova, none of them ain't going in Pelican extension, none of them ain't going Chewbacca, none of them ain't going beat up, none of them ain't going Steelers extension. I would have gone. So I said $45,000. They said, oh God, Smith, be a little easy on me now. Be easy on the thing. Because I had a certain amount of money to, of course, execute that project. And of course, we settled at $32,000. The point I am making is that ability is ability in some instances. In some other instances, you may not have the academic and other qualification, but certainly you would have made your contribution, and therefore you are entitled. And the other point I'm making is that everybody should be each other's keeper. Let's see what is happening here. Are you hearing him? Are you hearing that?
No. Hello.
Good
night, Mr. Lennox.
Call back.
I come to Lamblash and scan nobody name. I SKFC. I went every corner. I just go to it. I sent to Vital voice note for you. You can listen to that voice note and
everybody. In opposition, everybody talking and laughing. In opposition, everybody talking and laughing.
Let me just finish it by just saying that I know that.
Yeah.
That is why I told Chubby and they, you have to rise to the occasion. Eventually they will come to you. Moving Assam came up the road, saw us, only people exporting before they even dreamt about it, taking rubbish and turning it into US dollars. We were exporting the soft drink bottles and so on, right in over there. And he come and he say, Mr. Smith, if all you're taking rubbish and making money, well, you should be on the SBDC board. And so said, so happened. Ability, people, is ability. So the point I am making here is that you, as the activist that has not yet been considered, you have to make yourself relevant. And those who have gotten the opportunity, you cannot try to throw sand or salt in anybody else's. It's best you shut your trap, eat your biscuit, and shut your mouth. That's the point I'm making. Ability is ability, and eventually, up to yesterday, a group who would have been part of the campaign, they already saying, Mr. Smith, and that's a UNC, not a love team, a UNC team saying, Mr. Smith, we done clear already. When the next election comes in Laventille, you is the man. UNC. Why? Because I remain consistent, and I never floundered of all of the accriminations and all of the ridicule and all of the animosity only because people wanted to juxtapose. I have helped people in this place, and they would turn and tell me, look, let me tell you flat. Let me say it tonight. I want to say it tomorrow, but I'm going to say it again tomorrow. The candidate that we put up in Laventille East Mova, he turned and tell me that what he got is because of what he did. He is now, of course, on the board of one of the corporations. I'm not going to say which one. He turned and tell me that he got there by himself. He
Not
told, he
true
told,
love.
he told me that. I mean, I'm talking about recent. So KFC and others, please, don't burden yourself. Just continue to be relevant. Attach yourself to those who are progressive, and eventually you will get the recognition. I have no doubt in my mind that that very individual, I could imagine the kind of toxic commentary he would have been making about me, because he wants to make people believe that he put himself there. Yes, I mean, so I just laugh. I put down the phone. I told him, don't talk to me again. That's his relationship we have. So I saying all of this to say it's just a matter of time. I know that the grass is growing and the heart is aching and so on and so forth. But if you have a vision for a greater good, and they really love the UNC as I have, because it's the only party compared to the PNM that can take Trinidad and Tobago forward, regardless of its deficiencies, then I'm not saying that you won't get, but it might take a little while, but you will get. All right, let me try to get this on. Oh gosh, so all right, let me call back. Let me take it here. All right, go ahead now. Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, hello, good night, Lennox.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
The grass was growing for the last 9 years.
I hear you.
How much grass I could eat?
Yeah. No. I'm just saying if you can. I'm not saying.
Right?
Yeah.
I glad for him. I knew he was a fighter. I knew he was a grasshopper. He jumping there, jumping everywhere.
Right.
I just call him. You see the king anyway, but I just call him Roti Belly.
Wherever.
You see them fellas and them.
All right.
Them fellas try to bring down all and talk and
No, they can't. They can't. That's superficial. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know you. So I'm trying to give you a little motivation. Yeah. Send it. Yeah, I'm going to read it just now. Tonight. Yeah, and I'm going to read it tomorrow. So I think COP, enough has been said for tonight. We're going to deal with that tomorrow. But just, I thought because of the emotions that would evoke, and that the experience that I would have had and gained, that nothing surprises me. You see? And at the end of the day, nobody in Trinidad and Tobago has developed a resource center. And you're going to see in the next coming weeks the kind of people going to be visiting here. What you think certain people will do? They will firstly have to search their conscience, one. Two, recognize their deficiencies. Why they would recognize their deficiencies? Because they know. Pong for pong, Lennox Smith is far ahead of all of them. And look how I talking. I am not craving us for office. What I want is the people of Laventille and environs and so on to recognize that their value, and therefore do the right thing against the PNM. And if only vote me if I'm contesting, or any other candidate other than the PNM, I am sure if I have not passed away, to be at the forefront of making sure that you get what you deserve. I've often said, and some fella tell me that because I say that, but I'll say it again. If I get the opportunity, I empty the treasury in Laventille. I mean, and that statement by itself cannot be more profound as to my position. And I've been constant as the Northern Star. And
well, if you empty the treasury in Laventille, you help fix the country.
That's
you
right.
bring back the country.
And those who recently got an opportunity and believe is the best thing since sliced bread, is the panacea for them. Fine. I love that. But your conscience will tell you that Lennox Smith is what caused that too. You can't get away from that. Where the hell you come from? Where were you? Who carried you where in order to get what you have now. Listen, we have enough time to talk about that. Let's finish up here. Let me just put the video, let me put the audio on that video there, so you'll get an appreciation. We'll have to continue with this tomorrow. I know a lot of what we said tonight will be talked about tomorrow. Anyway, all right. So let's go here.
For the first time to a CARICOM meeting from one Twin Island Republican. CARICOM
Listen to
heads,
this.
dignitaries, distinguished guests. I welcome for the first time to a CARICOM meeting from one Twin Island Republic to another one here, Trinidad and Tobago.
At the CARICOM Heads of Government Conference in St. Kitts recently. If you look at what the Prime Minister delivered on that CARICOM speech last week, all right-thinking citizens have expressed dismay. She began those remarks with disrespect demonstrated to the Secretary General of the Caribbean Community, the very distinguished Carla Barnett, not even recognizing the head of the Secretariat in her remarks.
CARICOM heads, dignitaries, distinguished guests.
We also had occasion to be very proud of our long-standing...
But if she says Caribbean heads, distinguished guests, and Barnett would have been included, a blatant lie, or this fella Brown, Avery Brown,
No,
has a difficulty.
I think others call him Lollipop Brown or something like that.
Have a difficulty with the English language and comprehension. I mean, if she said distinguished guests after she says fellow CARICOM heads, what does that mean? I mean, you say that she did what? Give her a personal thing because you know that they have some kind of issue with each other? We're trying to fun. But of course, it's only ignorant Trinbagonians that he is talking to. Nobody who, of course, is esoteric, who is aware, who have knowledge and understands what was taking place there. She made a statement, and that was it. There's nothing you could do about it as opposition. You no longer hold that position. Wishful thinking will get you nowhere.
Record of solid democratic governance as 7 CARICOM member states and 4 associate members held peaceful general elections during the year. Since our regular meeting in Jamaica last July, Her Excellency Dr. Jennifer Girling Siemens was inaugurated as the first female.
So what's that? Now, Brown so blasted stupid. You know, he didn't give a thought. She started in July. In July, of a prime minister that was there and was elected in her country. But you know, Kamala was elected April before, and she started in July. I talk about Barnett when she was giving hers. So he is comfortable. He Brown and the PNM is comfortable with Barnett starting to congratulate. And mind you, Kamala was there for the first time, so she cannot say that is anything old or that she addressed her at a session before or that she's familiar with her coming and attending these meetings for the first time. Just as the others that she would have spoken of that were elected. I talk about Barnett, identifying all of these new leaders, prime ministers, and left out Kamala Persad-Bissessar, who should have been mentioned first because her election to office in the year that she was referring to was in April, but instead she started with persons who would have been elected across the Caribbean from July. Come on. And Apron Brown has the audacity, the temerity, the gall, the effrontery to insult our individual and collective intelligence in that way, saying that somehow Kamala lacked deportment. Her punctilio, her ability to have manners, leaves much to be desired. Haul all your tail. Haul all your tail. And today, a different story. All of them are eating out of her hands. I don't want to say kiss, because that will have to go with another part of the anatomy of a human being. Yeah, kissing out of her hands today. But listen to him. Let's skip Barnett a little bit. We have to forgive she.
Elected as President of the Cooperative Republic of Ghana, elected as the new Prime Minister of St. And Honorable Mia Amor Mockley has returned as the Prime Minister of the Republic of Barbados. Warm congratulations to them all.
Not mentioning Kamala at that meeting, the same Barnett, about whom, of course, is either she couldn't know what Kamala Persad Bissessar was going to say at that meeting, because the first time they would not have heads of state. It will be what I consider to be disrespectful for heads of state to give an underling operative employee of the Secretariat their speech to vet. So she couldn't know what Kamala was going to say. But just as Kamala, Barnett would have had a pre-prepared statement. And the intention was never to acknowledge Kamala Persad Bissessar, obviously. And Brong is saying, the PNM is saying, that Kamala Persad Bissessar didn't recognize the Secretary General. Kamala Persad Bissessar and Trinidad and Tobago stand tall, singularly. And today, as I said, all of them with the recommendation to solve this problem by going to the CCJ. We will conclude that tomorrow night. The eating out of her hands. Again, I don't want to say kiss, because I have to refer to, of course, another part of human anatomy. All right? Yeah. Yes, and so I am clearing my mind. Clearing my mind that Trinidad and Tobago is in a beautiful place. Even though we have not seen all of it, but certainly we are talking about another term and another term and another term up to 1990 and 2090 and counting beyond. Because when she would have gone, Kamala Persad Bissessar obviously would have demitted office. The UNC and its philosophy and its ideology would continue with those who would have been left behind and tasked with the responsibility of carrying on. And if I pass as well, say what? Others will continue. But what is for certain, the PNM has lost its way. It is the detriment to Trinidad and Tobago. It's a cesspool of corruption, nepotism, and cronyism. And indeed has malfunctioned as it has malfunctioned Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore, never again must be seen in the laudable corridors of power in this country. And we have to thank all of that to Kamala Persad Bissessar. Now futuristic, but we are seeing unfolding the hegemony position of Trinidad and Tobago. The influencer that we have, the influencer that she has regained for Trinidad and Tobago. And the economy certainly will be the beneficiary of that, as Donald Trump and others. And whether Donald Trump goes or not, PNM wishing for Donald Trump to go because he's too cozy with Kamala. But if another administration takes over, whether it's the Democrats or not, Trinidad and Tobago would have already been poised for the inevitable continued good relations, solid relations, economic relations, hemispheric and security relations, as well as, of course, environmental and other developments, including crime and criminality and border control, etc. Trinidad and Tobago would have been left in a place where the Americans will have no choice but to continue the tremendous legacy that would have been left by Kamala Persad Bissessar, having inaugurated it in just 1 year of coming into office, something that the PNM and Rowley couldn't do, not just in the 9 years prior, but into the 40 years before that, 9 years and counting. My friend, let's do our conclusion because it's already 5 minutes past 10. Tomorrow, of course, I'll wrap up with respect, of course, to CARICOM, and then, of course, we will get deep into something that I see that you are very passionate about, and that's to say the interests of activists and the fact that we are we in a position to speak and to speak to that. Notice we ain't talking that one should get at and that one should get at. We ain't talking what we get and so on and so forth. In fact, we're talking because we're in a position just as them, but expect that ultimately we will get and we will do what we are advocating others who would have gone before and get, and that is give a helping hand, give a pull-up hand to those who are still wallowing.
And that is what we're supposed to be doing.
Downtrodden.
And I want to also tell some of them, I want to tell some of them activists and them who follow programs all over. Or let us first say, oh, I'm sounding ignorant. When I cussing the PNM, and I sounding the same way with the PNM, COP sounding good. But when some COP sounding ignorant for the vulnerable, and the ones that we work with hard to put we party in power, are ignorant now and are disrespectful. So when I ignorant for the PNM, I only ignorant when I'm speaking for the vulnerable. Well, I don't want you to be my friend. I don't want you to be my friend.
Give your parting words. Give your parting words.
Yeah. Like me always when I standing up for my party right through. I standing up for the activists. I standing up for the vulnerable mother who going in the hospital and can't get attention. I standing up for them. And when election time reach, if my party do the work by representing people and I say, well, yes, they do the work, I go back and I vote for the party again. Right now, we supporting the party. But I tell my party, it's our vulnerable people that work with you all, assist them, and I'm not standing up for KFC. I'm standing up for everyone who work for 4 fortnight and ain't get paid yet. I saying that is wrong. You can't vex with me for saying that is wrong. That is wrong. When you was a child, if your father didn't get paid for 4 fortnight and didn't have the money to buy that milk for you, your mother would have a problem. And your mother might have say what I say. So give the people them the little money so they can buy milk for the children to go to school. Or you can't vex with people for saying that. Or you can't vex with people for asking for opportunity. Lennox Smith, and to all the listeners and viewers on the Corridor Transformation, though Mr. COP very controversial and very passionate when coming to deal with the vulnerable. Well, have a good night and thanks for being part of the Corridor Transformation.
Yes, it is, of course. And let me say finally that it is not too late. I would have expected that the party itself or the combination of the parties would have had a serious, smooth, efficient, effective mechanism in place to treat with matters like these. We shouldn't be talking this here, some of it at least. Mechanism should have been in place to treat with that. And I assume...
When appreciation is not being recognized. When appreciation has been recognized, well, you just go through that.
Yeah, you have given your closing remarks. So I want to say, I would have expected that. And I want to say it is not too late. I want to say it is not too late. And let me finally reiterate again, just as if I get the opportunity, I would empty the treasury in Laventille. Well, let me tell you this. I've also said, I am prepared to work for free for the UNC and the coalition of interests. Let me repeat, because I said it already. I am prepared to work for free for the UNC and the coalition of interests. I will never work for the PNM. even if they're paying me. You know what I say? Even if they're paying me. So those who believe that somehow Lennox Smith looking and looking and looking, and the fact that I have been part and parcel of, recognized officially part and parcel of the coalition of interest, nobody can take that away. And if I want to go rogue, I could. But I made a commitment as I'm making it here, I made it elsewhere too. The same commitment. I'll work for free for the UNC. I will never, even if they give me money, and I will give you some stories with respect to the PNM and their approaches. Yes, before most of them ministers in government today, I was asked to address a PNM National Security Council. Archbishop Burke came today to look for me. She's still alive. I took her with me to address the National Security Council of Trinidad and Tobago under the PNM when Martin Joseph was there. Understand that? And I made a PowerPoint presentation to all of the police head, the army head, the CIA head, and whosoever was here, Scotland Yard, etc. And when I finished, and I asked if there is any question, not a man stood up and say that they are confused about this or that. And for the first time, they would have heard it then. I talking about 2009 thereabout, when Manning was desperately looking for solutions to the crime problem that seemed to plague the PNM when it is in office. And for the first time, they heard about home invasion as we know it today. First time they heard it today. So home invasion is nothing to me because there are solutions that we proposed. And one of which, of course, I see the present government is pursuing, and that is parental responsibility legislation. A big document with that alone as part and parcel of the process. So since we cannot get the police to do the job, we have to get other people to assist, because it is about saving a country. Saving a country. And making certain that our future generation live in peace in this paradise that we would have created and nurtured as we would have passed on, and the future generation would have not only survived but strive. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. God bless. Yes. I'll see you tomorrow morning on the ground report, Andy, Mikey, and myself. This is no joke talk here. This is serious talk, and we told you so. This is tremendous sacrifice that is being made here, and that is why we could talk about loving Trinidad in the way that we have.
Trinidad is a boat sailing on the earth. Go sail on it. Oh Lord, I go sail on it. Whether it fast or slow, wheresoever it goes, I go in with it. Tell them I go in with it. I go sail when the tide is slack. I go sail when the tide is near. If she go sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat. A sailing with the boat, sink or float, a sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come. And when she needs a push, I'm going to push like bush. If Trinidad is a boat, I go sail on it, sink or float. have under scrutiny who plotting mutiny, and I watching them. I say I watching them who giving the captain lip, and all who abandon ship, and I'm marking them. I say I'm marking them. Stowaways, keeping free passage, castaways with excess baggage, crimson pirates moving in to kill, but I'm sailing still. I say I'm sailing still. I'm sailing with the boat, sink or float. I'm sailing with the boat. I'm sailing with the boat, sink or float. I'm sailing with the boat. Through hurricane and storm, hell or high water come, and when she needs a push, I'll go into push like push. If Trinidad